In this video, I want to talk about Evolution AB, this company that I sold in 2025, and the stock keeps dropping and dropping and dropping because one of my clients recently asked me, in what scenario are you a willing buyer of Evolution AB? When will it buy it back? What do you want to see so that you can buy Evolution back again? And that was a very good question. So this is what we are going to talk about today. What are the signs I want to see for Evolution AB so that I can buy again? Because if you picture this, if you look at the online casino market, the online gambling market, for the next 10 years, 20 years, we are talking about a growing trend. People will go more online in the future. In the next 10 years, 20 years, people will gamble as much, but there will be a shift from in-person gambling to online gambling, right? The new generation will embrace technology. You will have a growing market. At the same time, if you look at the competitive landscape, Evolution AB is the leader by far. When you look at the market share, it's just huge. So Evolution AB has a very good chance of being a clear leader in the next 10 or 20 years because you have no competition and you have scale, first movers advantage, distribution. You have long-term tailwinds for Evolution AB. And I sold the stock in Q1, full disclosure. I bought in December 2023 and I sold Evolution AB at the beginning of the year. Maybe in April or March, just after this big drop here. And so far, the stock has done nothing. I sold Evolution AB and I bought other things that went up meaningfully, including Lam Research. So far, it was a good decision, but it's too early to tell if this was a good long-term decision or not. From what I see, Evolution AB is a struggling company. It was a growth beast, an efficiency beast, and it is no longer the case. I bought Evolution because of growth. There is no growth anymore. I bought Evolution in the past because of efficiency. There is no efficiency anymore. I bought Evolution because of the quality of the management team. Now they are struggling. They are struggling and they have no solutions in sight for all their problems. So I bought Evolution AB because I thought the problems were temporary. Turns out we don't have the same definition of temporary. It's like the Fed and inflation, right? The inflation is temporary, but it will last forever. Yes, for a couple of years, maybe. So in the meantime, I'm just waiting for Evolution and monitoring the situation. So in this video, we'll talk about what are the positive signs I want to see before buying back. Because now Evolution is cheap. Okay, I think we can start. In case this is your first video from this channel, welcome. My name is Christophe Nour. I'm French. I've been investing in the stock market for almost a decade now, and I have achieved a performance of 25% per year. And Evolution has not helped, because if I didn't buy Evolution, I would have averaged a better performance than 25% per year. Okay, first of all, I want to talk about the geographies. If you look at Evolution AB, do they mention this? Maybe they mentioned this. They have a few key markets, Europe and Asia. And if you look at Europe, the two biggest segments are these ones. Asia is their most profitable segment. First, let me start with Asia. It will be more simple. Asia has always been their most profitable geography. And now they are having problems in Asia. So their cash cow is under attack. And the management is suffering and not addressing this issue. Basically, somebody is stealing their content in Asia. You have cyber attacks in Asia. And it's been more than 1 year now. The management is talking about this issue. The management team is saying, yes, we are under attack. People are stealing our content. And no solutions were provided to us shareholders. First, red flag. I didn't like this at all. The management team sees the issue and is doing nothing. And it is not reassuring their shareholders at all. Like, no solutions were given. If you look at the latest earnings call, they were again asked this question: what are you going to do? Are you doing something to? Do you have a time horizon? Do you have some guidelines for us? When are you going to fix this issue? And the management team literally said, we don't know. It's not about money. We could invest a couple of millions of dollars, but it would not fix this issue. We don't know how to fix this issue. So we will see with time, as time goes by, what we're going to do. But so far, we have no solutions for this. First, it's a huge red flag. I mean, it's a huge red flag. And first of all, the first sign, this is the reason you clicked on this video, I want to see the Asian market growing again. I want this issue of cyber attacks being fixed. Continued issue with cyber crime. Now the Asian market is no longer growing, it is declining. It's even worse. I mean, it was a segment that was growing 20% per year, 30% per year with fat margins. Now the margins are going down. Now the growth is going down, and the growth is declining right now. You have a declining trend. How long will the declining trend be? It's a good question, and nobody knows. I don't know, you don't know, the management doesn't know. They literally don't have any solution for their investors. They don't know how to fix this issue. First thing I want to see, I want them to fix this issue with cybercrime. Please hire a lot of people, hire experts, spend tens of millions of dollars on this issue. Please fix this issue and grow again with fat margins. Second point, with this Asian market, eventually you will have more regulation in the Asian market. And if you have more regulation in the Asian market, like India, for example, or the Philippines, you will lower your margins. I want to see an environment with more regulation and still consistent growth and consistent margins. So far, all the points I just mentioned are not happening, not here. You have literally zero visibility on this new world that is changing with more regulation in Asia. They are enjoying fat margins because of almost no regulation. Gray markets. What if this changes? Okay? And the regulation part is also what is impacting the European market. If I put this full screen so you see better, the second biggest segment for Evolution AB is Europe. If you look at Europe, it's 200 million euros here, and it is also dropping, not growing that much. And Europe is having another issue. Look at this. The two biggest segments are having issues. No wonder the stock is not improving. No wonder the earnings per share are not improving. You have two big segments. The two are under attack. This is quite bad, and this is why I sold. So I want to see a world where Europe is getting regulated. Well, this is happening right now. And I want Evolution to grow again in Europe despite the heavy regulation. Now Evolution is calling it ring fencing. They are working with regulators, working with governments to be 100% legal and operate in a regulated environment. And because of this new regulation, the revenue is dropping. Look at this, as you can see in blue here, the revenue is not increasing at all. It is flat and it is dropping a little bit now. I want to see the European market to grow 5-10% per year. I'm not asking for the moon, right? I know it would be very difficult for Evolution to grow revenue 30% again. But 5-10%, let's say 5. If you grow by 5% in Asia and 5% in Europe, now you are back on track because the stock is cheap. I mean, you can grow 5% per year with a PE ratio of 10 and be fine. That could be warranted. My big worry right now is Europe is continuing to suffer and the management team is doing nothing to revert back to growth. And Asia has no solution to grow again. These are two big, huge red flags, actually. So the two first signs I want to see are growth in Asia, fix your cybercrime problem, and growth in Europe, how low your margins will be. Can you grow again in a new regulated market? Maybe Evolution will have declining revenues for both these segments next year. It can happen. maybe Asia will continue to suffer for 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, or maybe it will be fixed next quarter. By the way, if you want to become a better investor and improve your performance, I have a coaching program. It gives you the exact method I've used to generate 25% per year for almost a decade. More on that at the end of the video. But if history is a guide here, if you look at the track record, well, the management has not provided any solutions. So yeah, I want to see this. Asia growing, problem fixed, and Europe growing. I'm strongly forecasting the margins for Europe will decline because you now operate in a regulated environment. This is fine to me. You can have declining margins, fine to me. If you look at the slides here, they mention the revenue and profitability. You have what? Your adjusted EBITDA margins that are going down for Evolution. You can see here in black, the black line. This will go down eventually. 60% adjusted EBITDA margins. It will go down to 60%. I'm fine with that. This is not something that is a red flag for me. As you go into regulated markets, the margins will go down, and that's okay. Perfectly fine for me. Please go down. Also, this share, as you can see here at the right, the percentage of the revenue that is in regulated market is going up. You want this to go up. So best case scenario, you want more regulated revenues from 40% to 46% to 56% to 66%, and you want margins to go down. I'm strongly forecasting this will happen. I don't know when, but it will happen. And you want this while Europe is growing, Asia is growing. This will be a big shift, and this will be the new leg of growth for Evolution. Because if you look at the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, the world will shift from real life casino to online casino. My generation and the younger generation, we will go into more online gambling, right? Compared to normal gambling. I don't gamble. I'm not a gambler. But for people that gamble, they will switch online, right? So this is a growing trend in the future. And if they can stay the leader in their industry, if they can grow 5-10% in the regulated markets, you can have fat margins, 40% margins, 50% margins, and this will be the ultimate goal. So Evolution has a clear goal of being the leader for the next 20 years. The next question, and the reason I sold, is how long would it take to be a turnaround play? Because now seems like problems are just piling up, accumulating, and in the meantime, markets are going up. So if you want to outperform the market, Evolution AB is a drag on your performance. Okay, this is why I'm not buying right now. Okay, so these were the two first signs I want to see. Asia, fix your stuff, fix your problem. And Europe, grow again. Grow again despite the regulation. I don't care about the lower margin, this is fine. North America is in good shape actually. North America, I have nothing to say about North America and Latin America. They are developing fast in a regulated market. Margins will go down because this is a regulated market. I'm fine. Please grow. This is fine. You are talking about a small market, right? 70 million euros of revenue compared to 200 for Europe and Asia. So it's a very tiny market. I want them to just continue to grow. Please do something. Since I'm on the slide, I can also comment on the two segments the company has. The revenues from live and the revenue from RNG. The RNG has never been a promising segment. They have never been, has never been a growing, profitable segment. Evolution AB has made some massive acquisitions in the past, including 2020. And let's say these acquisitions were not great. They acquired a segment, some companies that are not growing, that need a lot of employees, a lot of costs, and they are growing 3, 4, 5% per year. So it's a drag on growth. I would love them to grow again. I would love for them to grow. If the RNG segment is growing 10%, for some reasons, that's another sign I want to see, okay? Because they've been telling us shareholders that the R&D segment will grow again every quarter. I mean, you can check what I'm saying, right? Everything is public knowledge. Every quarter, they are saying the R&D segment is in a good shape, but the numbers don't reflect this. The numbers don't reflect the growth. Okay, and they've been saying this for quarters and quarters and quarters. The R&D segment is growing 3, 4, 5, 7% maximum. But apparently things are rosy, in a good shape. No, I want to see double-digit growth for this. This will be a third sign I want to see for this business. Okay, so for the live segment, you want growth, obviously. R&D segment, you want growth, obviously. And also now let me talk about capital allocation. If you look at Evolution AB, they are doing some buybacks now that the stock is cheap, right? If you look on a quarterly basis, the companies buy back 1% of their shares, 1% of the company every quarter. Let's call it this way. So they are buying back 4% of their shares every year. Why don't you do more? Why? Because it's a company in Sweden. That's it. That's the end of your question. That's finished. Swedish companies love dividends. If you look at most companies in Sweden, they allocate 50% of their cash flows towards dividends. It has always been the case. It's just the mindset they have, the philosophy they have. So I don't think the management team will cut the dividend policy to reallocate 100% of the excess cash flows to buybacks. It is not happening because for Swedish investors, they don't have a tax on dividends. So they can literally, as a shareholders can literally take the dividend and just invest in more stocks. For French guys, we have a tax on dividends. So every time we receive dividends, we pay a tax and then we can reinvest in more stocks, which is the reason why dividends are inefficient for most people. In the US, you have the same thing. In most countries in Europe, you have the same thing. You have a few countries here and there without any taxes on dividends, but for most countries on earth, you have a tax on dividends. This is the reason Warren Buffett says dividends are tax inefficient. For most people, it doesn't work. I am hating to pay taxes on dividends for my stocks. So I want to shy away from dividend investments, and I would love for them to cut the dividends, but it is not happening. For everybody that is hoping for the moon, it is not happening. But in case there is a 1% chance of happening, I want them to increase the buyback program massively, like Adobe is doing right now. The stock is low, you just double down on the buybacks. Evolution is not doing this. The stock is low, they are not doubling down on the buybacks. They are having some cash on the balance sheet. You want them to do massive amount of buybacks. This will change the sentiment on the stock, by the way. You want the management team to buy. Now they are buying, right? The CEO just bought some shares. A lot of the shares, actually. So you have insiders buying, but you want more buybacks to double down on your conviction. This will be the sign of a bottom. Now I don't see clear confidence from the management team. Okay? So another sign would be major buybacks. I would not mind if the company takes some debt to do more buybacks. Instead of buying back 4% of your shares every year, you can buy back 8% of your shares every year. If you really believe your stock is undervalued, maybe this is your best solution. And you can not even tap into the debt. I mean, you can use your cash right now. You can slow down on the dividends, but this is not happening. This is a company in Sweden, so they will not stop the dividend policy. Too bad for us capitalistic shareholders. Okay. Asia remains volatile. Something also that is qualitative, and I want to share this with you, is the tone from the management team. If you had listened to the earnings calls, if you listen regularly the quarterly earnings calls, you will see that the management team is not so confident. They don't want to answer hard questions. They don't want to answer difficult questions. This is a red flag. Okay? There is a reason why the CEO of Evolution AB is not doing many interviews. There is the reason why it's always the game designer that is doing all the good interviews about the mindset, about the future of the company. There is something strange about the management team. They don't want to answer difficult questions. I made a video about the Q3 2025 for Evolution AB, and you had so many red flags actually inside this call. The lack of conviction, vagueness of answers. The answers were vague. They were not answering the questions that much. And I can look at the last question. Just have a question on the RNG segment. Could you just say more color? Can you comment on this segment? If you are growing, do you see the market for RNG has improved? Here is the answer from the CEO. We are doing better and better, slowly, bit by bit, when it comes to our RNG offering. You couldn't be more vague. We are doing better. This is it. And this question is a good summary of the whole call. 1 hour long call. Basically, analysts had questions and the management didn't have answers. I can even look at what they have to say about the problem in Asia, right? How can you improve this current situation in Asia? The CEO says, I could throw more money at the problem and I would get this quicker solution. I would do that. If I could throw more money, I would fix the problem. I don't see that's a money issue. So it's not something about money. They just have no solution of growing Asia again. We invest and we put the resources. There is no limitation when it comes to that money. We put revenue share before cost. We are going to adapt, but we don't know how we can grow the Asian market again. So a sign I want to see in the future so that I can buy Evolution back is more conviction from the management team. I want them to address hard problems, address the solutions, talk about solutions, and implement the solutions right away. Now, problems are accumulating and the management is doing nothing to reassure the shareholder base. It's a sign that maybe the management team doesn't care much about the shareholders. And I only want to invest in companies that care about shareholders, that want to focus on the shareholders value creation in the long term. It seems like we see many points pointing out that the management team doesn't care. They are doing a tiny bit of buybacks. They don't provide any solutions. Problems are accumulating and they do nothing. If you are watching this video and you are a shareholder and you are asking, should I hold? Should I sell? Should I double down? I strongly encourage you to listen to the earnings calls from 2024 and 2023. Last year, 2024, they had a problem with some strikes in Georgia. Okay? So people were not happy, employees were complaining, and this was a temporary issue, right? It took some months from the management team to address this issue, and after months of strikes and declining operations, they just fired people in Georgia and they reallocated resources in other countries, right? So yes, this problem was temporary, but it took very long for the management team to adapt. Now you have much more problems, and my strongest is it will take longer for the management team to adapt. Seems like they are very slow to adapt, to change. Maybe this is the cost of being the leader. If you are quick, you can be messy. So it's better to be slow and working properly. Similarly to the AI adoption we've seen from Microsoft, for example. From Microsoft or Google, they are the leaders, so they don't want to rush things. If they rush things and they fail, they will have bad headlines, bad drama, and they don't want this. Maybe Evolution is having the same mindset of going slow just in order to survive and not be killed by the press. As a company, it's good for your transparency, for your reputation, but for shareholders, it's horrible because you want to have your companies to be lean, efficient, nimble, fast. Evolution is not nimble. Evolution is not fast enough for my taste, right? I know what people are going to say on YouTube. I know what people are going to comment. I'm buying because it's a deep value play. Yes, but I'm talking about my personal opinion, right? Evolution is not for everybody, and I've made plenty of videos on this topic. I'm just sharing my thoughts, right? I know people are buying because they think it's cheap. Evolution AB is cheap, okay? You have a P/E ratio of 10. For a company that is not growing, but you have a dividend yield of 4%, look at this, dividend yield 5%, and a buyback yield of 4%. So I bought Evolution AB because it was a growth company. It is no longer a growth company. It has become a value play, a turnaround play. And I don't want to fill my portfolio with turnaround plays, right? So this is the reason I sold. All the reasons I was a buyer evaporated. Growth no longer here. Efficiency, management team, mindset, conviction, you don't have this. So I want this, the quantitative metrics and also qualitative metrics. I'm not calling for a change in management team. I think the management team is good. I think they know their stuff pretty good. I think they are very much aware of their problems. I just want them to fix these issues quite fast. And if Evolution AB can come back to growth in Europe, in Asia, if they are more transparent with the regulation, if they are addressing all their issues, telling shareholders, here is what we're going to do. Step 1, step 2, step 3. If they are telling shareholders some updates on the Asian situation, that are the signs I want to see. That's what are the signs I want to see. If they are doubling down on buybacks, also positive signs. If they are giving more information about the Black Cube investigation with Playtech, this is what I want to see. By the way, guys, I don't know if you have followed this story, but Playtech is a competitor, and they are about to go bankrupt. I mean, this is very, very bad what is happening with their competitor. It's something that is really unethical. Well, you're in a gambling market, so everything is permitted here. And they hired people to limit the licenses from Evolution. They hired illegally a Black Cube to make bad press out of Evolution AB, if I have to summarize the situation. And we recently discovered Playtech was behind everything, was behind this story, and it has been the case for 4 years now. So Playtech will have to pay a fine. By the way, maybe you will have a trial. They will go in court because a competitor literally attacked you illegally to put you down. It's something that is really bad, very unethical. You hate to say this. I mean, this is very childish to do this, but this is life. What are you going to do in this situation? Either Evolution AB forgets, or maybe Evolution AB attacks them in court. If you go in court with Evolution AB and Playtech, Evolution AB will have to disclose some how can I say it, obscure information about the online gambling market. Maybe it's not so wise to go in court, because maybe if you disclose information about gray markets in Asia, it will give you bad press. So tricky situation here, right? Evolution wants to make money out of the situation because Playtech will have to pay a fine. But if you go in court, they will have to share their, open books, right? Give information publicly. So maybe you don't want to share too much information. So it will be very tricky. Maybe it will be behind closed doors. Maybe this will be a disappointing solution for potential shareholders. Maybe the fine from Playtech will be quite low and disappointing. Maybe Playtech will go bankrupt. Anything is possible. That's a big question mark what is happening right now. Another sign that I can add to this thesis is if Playtech goes bankrupt, Evolution AB will take their market share. And if they take more market share, they will still be the leader by far. Evolution AB will still be the leader when it comes to market share. And the destination analysis is very true for Evolution. In the next 10 years, 20 years, Evolution will be here. So the destination is very clear. The next question is, if you want to be part of the journey and you want to be invested in this Evolution AB for the next 20 years, when do you buy back the stock? When do you go back in the trade, in the investment? Well, you want to see growth again. These are the points I mentioned before. So yeah, if they fix their issues, if they have more conviction, more buybacks, if you have more visibility when it comes to their age and market, but also the Playtech situation, if you have all these signs, the stock will go up and maybe I will buy again. I don't mind that. I don't mind buying up at a more expensive price. I don't mind it at all. Actually, now the stock is what, 600 SEK. If the stock is doing good and it rebounds to 1,000, but all my points are in the green, I will buy again at 1,000. No worries, because we are talking about the next 10 years, 20 years, right? So we don't care about 600, 1,800, 1,200. It doesn't matter much because it's an investment for the very long term. So I don't mind paying up and not picking the absolute bottom. From what I see now, the situation is getting worse and worse and worse. I will not buy this falling knife right now. I want to see a few quarters of improving returns, more visibility, and maybe next year, maybe in 2 years, my strongest is the problems for Evolution will continue next year. So I will continue to monitor the situation in 2026 and see how it goes. But yeah, maybe I can be a buyer in 2027. I don't mind. 2028. I don't mind waiting at all. And when the situation revolves and the company is back on track, I will be here. So I will most certainly make an update video when I buy back in. But so far, I am not touching the stock. I am monitoring heavily what is happening, obviously. The number of players, the traffic, the situation, the revenue, the geographical expansion plans. But so far, I am not touching Evolution AB. If you like this content and you want to go deeper, I have a coaching program. In this program, you will learn the strategy I use to outperform the market. You will learn how to find winning opportunities. You will learn how to properly value stocks, when to buy, when to sell, so that you can build a strong portfolio with great companies. Additionally, inside the program, you will have access to an exclusive community of like-minded investors, and you will also have access to my personalized guidance to reach your investing goals. Click the first link in the description to get more information. You will get a short video that explains how everything works, completely for free. No need for your email address, just click the first link in the description and I'll see you on the other side.